a billion years ago, before the name America was ever spoken. The land was only wild forests, deep oceans, mountains still growing from the earth, and skies filled with untamed stars. In that endless silence, two lights were born, not of flesh and bone, but of spirit and fire. The first was Ilion, spirit of the blazing sun, whose heart carried warmth and fire, whose eyes held the brilliance of day. The second was Saria, spirit of the silver moon, graceful and soft, her voice as gentle as water, her touch as cool as the night. When the world first opened its eyes, it saw their love, for whenever the sun sang, the moon rose to meet him, and whenever the moon faded, the sun stretched his light to find her again. They lived in the dance of eternity, each bound to their time, never fully together, never fully apart. Mountains grew and rivers carved the earth beneath their gaze, yet their love remained untouched by the passing of ages. Ilion would pour golden fire across the skies each dawn, a love letter written in flames only Saria could read. Saria in return would scatter diamonds of light across the night sky, her stars forming messages only Ilion could understand. The world itself became their parchment, the heavens their ink. But though the beauty of their bond painted the sky for all to see, they longed for one moment, just one, where they could truly hold each other. Yet fate was cruel. The law of the cosmos decreed that sun and moon could never share the same throne in the sky. The universe whispered, "You belong to different realms. You may touch, but never stay." Still, love is stubborn when born from eternity. Ilion promised Saria one day, "When this land grows, people with hearts that beat and voices that sing, we will return not as lights but as flesh. Our love will walk the earth." Saria replied, "And when that day comes, we will not burn apart. We will be one life, one love, one soul." The winds carried their vow across the oceans, the forests, the stones of the earth. Time listened, stars recorded it, the earth remembered, and so began a secret covenant that would sleep for countless ages. Hidden in the veins of the world, seasons turned into centuries, centuries into millions of years. Dinosaurs rose and fell, ice ages came and melted, oceans swallowed land and returned it again. Yet still, the promise of Ilion and Saria lay waiting, glowing silently like an ember buried deep inside the soil. And when the age of mankind dawned, the ember began to stir. It whispered into the dreams of poets, who wrote songs of star-crossed lovers. It inspired tribes to tell stories of the sun chasing the moon across the sky. It appeared in myths, in visions, in forgotten prayers. For the love of Ilion and Saria was not gone, it was only waiting. Waiting for a heart brave enough to carry it. Waiting for two souls human enough to fulfill it. Waiting for a child who would be the living flame of their ancient vow. Thus, the legend did not die, it only slept. And now, after a billion years, the time has come for that love to awaken. And its awakening would begin on the land once carved by their light. The land that would become America. When mankind finally rose upon the earth, the stars themselves leaned closer, curious to see if the vow of Ilion and Saria would awaken. The first people who roamed the vast lands of America looked to the skies and saw the eternal chase of sun and moon. They did not know the names of the lovers, yet they felt their story deep in their bones. They told tales of a golden hunter who chased a silver maiden, forever yearning yet never reaching. They carved these stories into stone, painted them on cave walls, whispered them to their children by firelight. Every tribe, though scattered across forests and rivers, somehow carried pieces of the same myth. Some said the sun was a fiery warrior, the moon a gentle healer. Others said they were spirits who lost each other in a great storm, and were cursed to circle the skies forever. But beneath every version lived the same truth. Their love still breathed through the world. Ilion and Saria, though trapped in their cosmic roles, began to weave their essence into the lives of humans. They whispered into dreams, stirring lovers to defy all odds. They placed courage in the hearts of those who fought for love across tribe, across river, across war. When two souls kissed beneath the twilight, where day and night touched, Ilion and Saria smiled. When a mother held her child beneath a sky split between sunlight and moonlight, their promise glowed stronger. The earth itself seemed to remember their vow. trees bent toward the moonlight as if reaching for her hand. Rivers shone golden at dusk as if carrying the fire of the sun. The winds carried laughter like secret blessings from the eternal lovers. But love, as powerful as theirs, could not remain only in legend. It needed flesh, heartbeat, and breath. It needed a human vessel who would carry both light and shadow. And so the spirits began to search among mankind, drifting through the centuries. They moved through battles and peace, through kings and beggars, through deserts and mountains. They were not bound to wealth or power. They were bound to the purity of love. Every century, to humans somewhere on earth would carry their spark. But none could hold it long. Some were torn apart by war, others by distance, some by the cruelty of time itself. And each time, the vow grew stronger. Waiting for the moment destiny would not fail. Waiting for a love, brave enough to resist even the universe. The land of America, still young compared to the ancient world, kept calling to them. For here, the mountains still whispered the first vow. Here, the rivers still carried their reflection. Here, the sky stretched wide enough to hold both sun and moon at once. And so it was written, in this land, the promise would finally be fulfilled. The child who would carry their eternal love would not be born of stars alone. She would be born of human blood and divine fire. And the moment of her coming was drawing near. Centuries passed, and the spirit embers of Elian and Saraya wandered restlessly, searching for the two humans strong enough to bear their eternal flame. At last, in a small town in America, destiny stirred. A boy and a girl were born under rare skies. When the sun refused to set fully and the moon rose before its time. From the beginning, their lives seemed tied by invisible threads. He grew with the warmth of fire in his laughter, his presence bright like the sun at dawn. She grew with the calm of twilight, her voice soft yet carrying the strength of moonlight. When their paths crossed, the earth itself seemed to pause. Birds hushed, winds stilled, as if the world knew something sacred was unfolding. They felt it too, an echo deep inside, as though they had known each other not for days, but for ages beyond counting. He said, her eyes held the silver of eternity. She said his smile carried the golden promise of tomorrow. Their love grew not with haste but with certainty, like rivers carving mountains. Through every season, they were unshaken, bound not by chance but by destiny. The townsfolk saw them and whispered of a strange aura that followed them. Some said they looked like they carried ancient stars in their souls. Others swore they glowed when they walked together at twilight. But the lovers did not care for whispers. For them, the universe was already speaking in silence. They knew they were part of something older than the world around them. When they touched hands, it was as if sun and moon finally met without burning apart. When they kissed, the night sky seemed to bloom with more stars than before. Unseen, Elian and Saraya watched, rejoicing in the mortal forms that now carried their essence. The vow made 1 billion years ago was alive again, no longer drifting as legend. It now beat in two human hearts, breathing and defiant. Yet, destiny had not finished its work. For love as ancient as theirs demanded more. It demanded a legacy. And that legacy was waiting to take her first breath. The child of light and shadow, of sun and moon, of promise and eternity. Her arrival would be the bridge between heaven and earth, myth and flesh, dream and dawn. The lovers, unaware of the full weight of their destiny, lived with simple hearts but extraordinary love. Every glance, every word, every embrace was touched by something eternal. When he held her, it felt like the sun wrapping its warmth around the moon. When she looked at him, it felt like the moon softening the fire of the sun. Together, they balanced each other, never too bright, never too dark, perfect harmony. Nature itself celebrated them. Flowers bloomed early, rains fell gently, and the skies often painted rare colors at twilight. The town began to notice that whenever they walked together, the horizon shimmered as though both day and night had joined hands. They married beneath the sky where the first stars appeared before the sun had fully set, a moment of union chosen by fate. That night, as they promised themselves to each other, an ancient energy stirred through the air. The wind carried whispers in forgotten tongues, voices of Elian and Saraya blessing their union. And then, in the silence of that night, The woman felt a spark deep within her being. It was not ordinary life growing, it was a flame born of eternity. The child forming in her womb was more than human. More than spirit, she was the living covenant. Ilion's warmth burned in her tiny heartbeat. Soraya's calm shone in the rhythm of her breath. The lovers did not yet know the power of what they carried, but they felt it. They felt the universe bending gently toward them, watching with bated breath. The stars above seemed to lean closer each night, brighter and fuller. The moon glowed stronger during her pregnancy, as if guarding her. The sun burned softer, kinder, as if protecting the child. Neighbors whispered that the unborn child would be touched by heaven. Some feared her, some admired her, but all sensed she would not be ordinary. The lovers, however, did not care for fear or prophecy. They loved her already, though unseen, though unborn. To them, she was not a symbol or a legend. She was their child, their miracle. The promise of 1,000,000,000 years had now taken form in her, and soon, the world would meet the living bridge between past and future, heaven and earth, sun and moon. The night she was born, the skies above America split into wonder. The sun lingered beyond its time, and the moon rose early, both watching together. A golden glow and silver shimmer spread across the horizon, as if heaven bent to witness. Her first cry carried the fire of Ilion and the calm of Soraya. The winds hushed, the stars trembled, and the earth itself sighed with relief. For at last, the vow of 1,000,000,000 years had been fulfilled. She was a child of balance, of warmth and gentleness, of day and night. Her eyes glimmered with starlight, her skin glowed with the blessing of dawn. The people who saw her whispered that she was not merely human, but destiny itself. The lovers, holding her in their arms, wept with joy. To them, she was not a legend, but their beloved daughter. Yet, in her breath lived the memory of the sun and the moon. In her heartbeat echoed the covenant made before time. The universe, after eons of waiting, finally smiled. Ilion and Soraya, once divided, were now whole within her. The child was the proof that love is stronger than fate, stronger than the laws of the cosmos. She was the eternal dawn, the living bridge between heaven and earth. And thus, the love story that began 1,000,000,000 years ago lived on in her, forever unbroken.